Hey, welcome to Planet Hex. I'm Andrew Horn. This is a show where I talk about a lot of VHS tapes, a lot of cult films, the writing life, comics, games, music, and a bunch of other stuff that takes my fancy. Sometimes even like action figures and stuff like that. It's all good fun. Tonight, before we go and check out this week's offerings over on eBay and looking at X-Rental VHS tapes, I'm going to talk about this movie here. There. Arcade. Now, a lot of you will be aware that I am a big fan of this movie. I know a lot of you will wonder why I'm a big fan of this movie because I know it's not the best movie in the world and it has its flaws, but I am fascinated by this film. This was released by Full Moon Pictures in Full Moon Features in 1993, starring Megan Ward, Peter Billingsley, Seth Green. John Delancey, and was scripted by David S. Goyer. And it's a movie about an arcade game, funnily enough, by the title and the artwork, that has gained sentience, and anyone that plays it, it will basically consume their souls, and that's it. Teenagers versus living arcade game. You can't go wrong with it, and. I love this movie dearly. This is a copy I've had since I was a teenager. I rented it. I bought this from I rented it and then I went and bought this from a discount video store that I found while on holiday once, and I love it dearly. I love this movie. To the point where I actually started writing a sequel to it. I am working on a sequel script to it just for fun. Must disclaimer, just for fun. I'm not in any way, shape, or form linked with Full Moon Features, but I've started writing a sequel and I'm tinkering away at that as well. I even made a trailer for it, which is on my channel. Elsewhere on my channel, if you want to check that out, do look it up. The sequel's title I've given it so far is Arcade forgotten. Arcade, the Viral Nexus. So yeah, that's my little pet project. I've done a trailer for it with AI voices and some nice visuals, and working on that script solely for fun. Although if Full Moon, if you ever need a script to an arcade sequel, hit me up. Here I am. But yeah, I'm going to talk about this movie tonight because I found the other version. Now, it was right under my nose. On the Internet Archive, someone had uploaded quite a while ago, actually, a copy of the original version of Arcade from a screener that had been sent out to video stores. Now, why does this excite me? Well, this version of Arcade, the one that was released, is not the original version of Arcade. It used to have it originally had completely different effects. The creatures, the vehicles that you see on the screen there didn't appear in the movie, the original one, and even Arcade himself looked very different, and the scenarios that the characters were put in were very different as well. Now, there's two things I've heard about this. One was that the production company forming were dissatisfied with how the original effects looked, and I can believe it. And the other more believable one for me, anyway, is that Disney took issue with this movie because some of the effects look very similar to things that were used in Tron, namely the light cycles and stuff like that. And Full Moon were asked to redo the effects. So whichever one of those may be the one that happened, I think it may actually be both. Personally, I think it's a mixture of both. Because some of the original effects did look rather rough. Regardless of that, I've never seen the original version, and I didn't know until finding it on the Internet Archive that there was a copy available. So I'm going to watch that. I'm going to watch that tonight. I've got it open in another tab here, and I'm going to see how it is. But I've had a flick through it, and it's what has interested me most about it is that it doesn't seem to be just the effects that have changed. There appears to be several scenes have changed as well. So it's like an entire alternate universe version of this movie. So I'm really looking forward to getting a grip in this, getting a hang on this. It was directed by Albert Pune, the late Albert Pune, who directed things like Nemesis and the Captain America movie, the original Captain America movie in 1990 with Matt Salinger, and a bunch of other fantasy and sci-fi ones that I've really enjoyed over the years. Cyborg, for example, that's one of the big ones, and I would always love to. I've always wanted to do something that was linked to arcade, and if one day if the Viral Nexus gets made, that would be awesome, and it would be lovely to do something that's connected to Albert Pugh. So I was a big fan of his work. Anyway, some of the differences. I've got some examples here. So this is the original poster. Sorry, this is the poster that was released over here for the UK release. I think it had a slightly different logo in the US, but there is an alternate version of the poster which I'll get to. So this is the version of the movie I'm most familiar with. There's Megan Ward in the VR video game world of arcade. Yeah, the effects were ropey even there by then standards those days. There's a screamer, and I really like that. Come around the corner, go ah! I was never really sure what it actually did to a character. They would kind of bail from the game when it came out. But that was pretty cool. So I didn't mind the effects as they were when in the version that was released. There's Megan Ward and Peter Billingsley going through the corridors in the various levels of Arcade's brain, and that's the levels as they appeared in the video release of Arcade as well. And there's like the River Styx type scenario with two of the characters that had been swallowed by Arcade acting as like, sinister boatmen across this digital River Styx. So that was an interesting touch. I don't think that one's changed much, but it'll be interesting to see if it has. That's the Screamer again. So there's the original logo as it came through on the original version of the titles. And there's some more of the original effects in the original version. It's a very different sort of aesthetic. There's the original Arcade. I don't have a copy. I don't have a picture of the finished version of Arcade to hand. I don't think there's one on the box art either. No. However, there is one in my trailer for the Virtual Nexus, which you can find on my channel. But it's very different. So there's like a demonic, ghostly feel to this one, whereas in the finished movie it was a lot more robotic and square and blocky. And I feel that the finished movie, the one that was released to a larger audience, I think that one has more of a finished overall look to it, and less of a early '90s rave look to it again. So these are the hands of what was the original Screamer, which was it looked kind of froggy. It's on the original version of the poster. There's another look at Arcade from the original version. It's very different. It also almost reminds me of Reboot. If anyone remembers Reboot, that's what it makes me think of here. But it's something that's been sort of a grail to me for years to see the original version of this. So as I say, I've flicked through. I've been really excited to see it. There's the Screamer from the original version. It's not the same power as the more metallic one, which I thought fit better with it. You see what I mean about it looking a little bit froggy? But I never thought I would get to see this, and the fact that someone has uploaded it and it's available to watch on the Internet Archive library service, I'm really looking forward to checking that out. I'm wondering if any of the audio will be different, any of the soundtrack. I see there are some different scenes in it, some different takes, and definitely some very different effects. What I notice is that from what I've seen flicking through and what I've seen on the video zone, there is the Full Moon Features video zone for Arcade, which is also on YouTube, which has a lot of the old effects sequences in it, and it's an interesting watch. What I did notice that is the original one didn't seem to have any form of unified aesthetic to it, which I think is why, even though the finished effects were a little rushed, they are more unified. They have more of a unified feel to them, and are much more effective as a result, I feel. Anyway, so yes, I'm really looking forward to checking out this, which is the original version of Arcade, as put out by Full Moon Features, and I love it. I love it that I've been able to find this, and I'm going to be able to check it out. It's going to be really nice to see the characters again. I really loved spending time with these characters. I was like 14 at the time, 13 when I originally saw it, so I was about the right time of life to spend time around these characters. Yeah, and it has the Paramount stuff on there as well, but it's from a screener, so it's not going to be perfect. But I'm really looking forward to seeing what goes on in it. Anyway, so yes, I found one of my grails, albeit a digital version. I know I'll never be able to get a VHS copy of this. I think that's just out of the question. Not through price, just through scarcity. But I am really excited to check out a version of one of my favorite movies, Arcade, that I've never seen before. That said, it's tape time. Let's go and check out what's going on with X-Rental VHS tapes over on eBay. I've got to do that every episode. We've got to stay ahead of it. We've got to keep aware of what's going on in this marvelous scene. And straight away, I'm seeing something cool there, and it's not a tape. It's a Network Video Index and Catalog from 1982. That looks cool. Over 3,500 titles, over 600 film reviews. So that's a good one. There's a batch I saw on the last tape hunt I did on here. 2 more video indexes. Those could be cool to start checking out. We got Warrior Queen. That was up last time as well. Hope there's some new stuff on here. Oh, there's a big box of RoboCop. Classic film. I do love the original version of RoboCop, the original RoboCop movie, and I love the simplicity of the artwork that was used on that one. Oh, Beyond the Edge of Darkness, Project Shadow Chaser. Let's take a look at the back of that. Millennium, that was all right. That was all right. And Chris Christopherson and Cheryl Ladd in it. One of those that you'd watch once, never really revisit. Rollerblade Warriors. That's very off its time. Let's take a look at that. Jackie Chan, Big Boxes, Hollywood Ghost Stories. Seen that one on here before. That Fly 2 for £2.20 is not bad. I've seen that guy's listings before. I recognise the user. But let's go and have a look at these other tapes and see if there's anything else that's gone up on his page. Vampire Journals. I've just watched that for free on the Full Moon Features YouTube channel. I just watched that recently for free on there. It's related, though not entirely canon, part of the subspecies series. It's worth a look if you like your dramatic, overtly theatrical vampire movies. But it's really good. It's one of those that is so well made, you don't notice the low budget very much at all. So when they get it right, Full Moon really get it right. When they don't get it so right, it's still a thoroughly enjoyable film because, I love these things. Nothing leaping out at me tonight so far, apart from those. Certainly not RoboCop 3. Check it out, Japanese big box for RoboCop 3. So, even though it's RoboCop 3, I've got to go and have a look at the Japanese version, see if it differs at all. Oh, the Creeps. There's a Creeps for $1.99. That's a former movie with small people playing like Frankenstein's monster and Dracula and so on, and the Mummy, all these classic characters, and it's a really really cool one. Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, £17. What is your sort of your chicken soup movie? What's the sort of thing you always go back to when you need to be cheered up and reassured, or if if you're just not feeling great, something that picks you up? For me, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles is one of those that will always make me feel better. Oh, got Pet and the Pendulum there, the Stuart Gordon version, another Full Moon production, and known to be one of the really good ones. Oh, original version of Phantasm, nice. See, this isn't just like a horror search. This is just X-Rental VHS Big Box, because I'm concerned by just putting horror on there, maybe missing some good ones. So I may do some like fantasy ones and sci-fi searches soon as well. Powder. I remember the trailer to Powder, and it just freaked me out. Just the trailer of it. Love a bit of Project Shadow Chaser. It's not something you want to see on any listing, though, is it? Mouldy. Captain Power. Awesome. That'll complete what we've got open here. Captain Power was a great attempt at making interactive toys. And if you're not familiar with it, I think it was about 87 or so. Oh, it says 87 there. To about 1990, there was a TV series, Captain Power and the Soldiers of the Future, and there was an interactive range of action figures and vehicles and guns and stuff like that. Toy guns. And some of it was released on VHS, edited into movies. And I had like 2 or 3 tapes. I think I had 2 or 3 tapes of that. I now remember I had Dread's Revenge. There was Lord Dread was the villain against Captain Power and the Soldiers of the Future, and there was an effect used in the series where the Stormtrooper-like characters had like flashing red chest plates, and those chest plates would interact with the toys. You could shoot at the stormtrooper type characters on screen with the guns, and the vehicles. It was the same thing with the vehicles. You could shoot at the other vehicles and things like that, and they would shoot back depending on the flashes on the chest. Of course, that would cause problems with people with like photosensitive epilepsy. Now that might be an issue there, and the production of it was difficult, I would imagine. But it was one of the earliest examples of a mixture of live action and CGI used in a kids TV program. It was post-apocalyptic. It was surprisingly dark. I mean, surprisingly dark. Beloved characters bit the dust in it. There was a lot of laser action. There was a lot of big set pieces in it, so I'm not surprised it didn't last long, because that TV series must have been way expensive to put together for the time anyway. So I'm gonna have to have a look at that. That was really cool, a really cool one. So on these tapes I've got open here, let's go and have a look. Oh, this one has just finished. So that has just finished. Fair enough. But that looks like something cool. The only video club you ever need to join. Network Video. Oh man, I see Night of the Demon straight away in there. That's cool. That might be something to keep a lookout for in months to come. That's a really cool item. I love that. Yeah, not surprised that sold for a bit. That's really cool. So, on this one, let's have a look at this. There's 2 video indexes here, and these are going up as well. Let's see if they've gone up from 11 foot. No, okay. So there's 2 minutes left, and for these 2, these are going to go for I think these are probably going to go up a little bit right at the end. But these are so fun. The movie reviews, there's listings of titles and the availability of them. That's such a great idea. I love anything to do with the back shop of video stores. I think just that's fascinating. It always fascinated me. What a dork, Andrew. What an absolute dork, man. Yes. So I never had the original X-Rental version of RoboCop. I had the forefront version in the gold case, budget version, but it had the same cover on the front, just with a gold band around it, and same images on the back, and that takes me right back to being far too young to be watching Murphy rolling around on the floor while Clarence Boddicker yells, "Give the man a hand!" But that just makes me very nostalgic. Right, Project Shadow Chaser. This has ended as well. What did that end on? That's not a bad price. That's a really good price for that. That's what that finished on, at £4. Looking good. They're very, very clean. Very clean. I don't know what it is about the Columbia TriStar releases of these low-budget movies. A lot of them are still in really good condition. I don't know if the materials had improved by that point, like in the late 90s, but a lot of those I see are in a really good nick. So let's have a look at Rollerblade Warriors. Look at that. That's so cool. Bit of post-apocalyptic silliness for you there. Heaven and hell on wheels. And they've got lots of pictures of this. I don't even think I've seen that in its entirety. But what you're looking at there is something akin to like Slave Girls from Beyond Infinity, but with a bit more punk rock attitude with it. I may have to check that out. So I want to have a look at this Fly 2. See, as I mentioned, that we've looked at this seller before, but I want to see if it's got anything new up. Oh, he's selling the RoboCop as well. Some Day of the Dead cards. Reanimator at 420. Yeah. Okay. The Palace version of Evil Dead 2. There's a great set of videos. The Palace horror. Yeah, good stuff. Nice to see that. So look at this Japanese RoboCop 3. That logo's so cool, and it is silver embossed by the look of it. There. Of course, you'd have to get the only selling point of this movie. The only selling points of this movie are Nancy Allen and the flying RoboCop scene. That's about it. But yeah, I was hoping that would be a bit more different to the UK release, but that's fine. That's cool. Creeps. Here's this one that I've seen before, which was mouldy. Dude, that is not mouldy. That is getting a good, hard bidding, as it were. That looks good on the back. Let's have a look at the spine. Nice, clean spine. Yep. I need this. I need this. Let's see if I can get it at a budget. You never know. What else have they got going on? Paul's DVD Emporium. That's a good name. VHS films. Let's have a look. Return to Salem's Lot. Tape only. Mountaintop Hotel Massacre for $1.99. That's cool. That's cool. This is a seller selling at a good price, and if people want to make those prices go higher, then that's fine. But this is a seller that's not starting things off at a silly price, and you've got to respect that. That's really cool. Excuse me. Still getting rid of that bug that's downed my whole family at the moment. Let's look at the back of that. That's crazy. I've not seen a tape of that in ages. New World Video. I'm going to watch that, keep an eye on that, see what's going on there. There we go. Yeah, The Pit and the Pendulum is a really good film in production of the classic story. Absolute masterpiece. One of those where it really uses all of the budget offered. Even if it's a low budget, if you stick it all on the screen, it really makes a difference. So it got Lance Henriksen in it, Jeffrey Combs, really good cast, and a surprising appearance from Oliver Reed, nonetheless. Directed by Stuart Gordon. Fantastic, really good adaptation. Here's the Captain Power tape. So I remember this one. This was like foil. There's Lord Dread. Darth Vader much. I mean, come on. The world once more has a future where legends are born, if you like, mate. So, unfortunately, with it being reflective, that has now aged quite a bit on there. That's quite plain to see. But there's Captain Power. There's one of the stormtroopers. There's the Lord Dread. That one's Captain Power. I think he was called Tank. Yeah, and each of them had like their special powers. They all looked a bit like Centurions, to be honest. Once they'd got all their gear on. Now there would be something I would love to see in live action. That's aged really well. So yes, that brings us to the end of this episode, my dudes. So we've had tape time. We've checked out what's been going on with some Big Box X rental videotapes. We've checked out my endless nerdery for this film, Arcade. And I hope you've had a good time along the way. I certainly have. This has been a good one. So I'm sorry it's been late, but I've just not been well. So I hope this has made up for it. Thank you for joining me for this episode of Planet Hex. Do join me for the next one. Do like and subscribe if you like this sort of thing. I will talk about more VHS tapes, cult movies, and other weirdness very soon. In the meantime, I'm going to carry on writing VHS 8 in my brain too, which is thundering along at a good old pace. Thanks for watching. Catch you next time.